Okay. Seems like. Okay. Yeah. Welcome to lecture number 9. I think it's number 9. Anyway. Um. So today we'll look at what's called as one of the most important um features in AutoCAD, or let's say, I don't know, the important things that you should know in AutoCAD. So the plotting. So plotting means basically you are printing the drawing to whatever, a PDF file, or maybe what you have is a hard. If you want a hard copy, you from your soft copy. So then it is about yeah. Then you need to print or what you call plot. Okay. Yes. So that's a very um, uh, important topic that you all should know. And basically, when you go to industry or a workshop, we need hard copies. We need printouts to basically work on the field. So yes, so that's very important. And let's see how you can print these documents in AutoCAD. So yeah, let's get started then. So before we start to go to the actual printing process, um, you need to actually you need to you should have correctly formatted the so you should have correctly formatted the dimensions, the text, multi-leaders, tables, and yeah, those kind of stuff. Okay. So I mentioned that. So in last assignment also I gave this task. Um, um, so one way to do this is if you're plotting, let's say if you're uh, plotting in let's say 1:2 scale. Um, yeah, you need to scale up the dimensions. You need to scale up the text by a factor of 2. So because you are scaling down this object so that you can fit it onto a standard paper. So where you will print the document onto which you are going to print. Um, yes. So for example, if the text height is 5 millimeters, uh, 5 millimeters means on the printout. If it is 5 millimeters, so here you need to include the text. Okay, let me make a layer. Oh, text. So text with elevation. Control A, Control U. I can go to properties and update the value. Okay. Yeah. So let me do few more changes. I'm going to change to Roman. Apply. And let me do one more change. Uh, Justification, yeah, center middle center. So I can align these properly to the center. Okay, this is something not related to plotting. I saw some of you people were doing something like this, especially in these kind of center lines. So they were some of you, okay, not everybody. So they were simply drawing the line like this. So it is too long, and yeah, you have to follow the standard that had been taught in your manual drawing class. Okay, so yeah, I would recommend. So if you are inserting these kind of center lines, this is also wrong. You can't end the center line here. So it needs to go beyond uh, the borders of the hole. Okay. So I would recommend going about, let's say, 3 millimeters from this one. So that means 6 millimeters in the model space. And here also 6 millimeters. So don't worry, you see this as a continuous line. Yeah, we will resolve this issue. So don't worry. I will show you how you can make show this as a center line in the printout. Okay. Yeah. So as a rule of thumb, um, think like are you if you do this in the manual drawing class, what would happen? If you're going to get penalties or if you're going to lose marks, then you would look. If you do the same kind of mistakes here, yes, definitely you are going to lose marks. Okay, that's how you should think. So if you are not doing that kind of mistake in manual drawing, definitely you are not going to do that in here in computer assisted drawing. So maybe you are too comfortable because this is easy, but you have to follow the guidelines given in the manual drawing. So that is a must. So I'll not go into details because it's already taught in the manual drawing class. So yeah, always think, will I be doing that in the manual drawing? If the answer is no, yes, you are not going, you are not supposed to do it in the CAD as well. Okay, yes. And also the dimension. Do I have the layer? No, I don't have it. Let me create the layer. Dimensions. Uh, okay, the line type is center. So that should be continuous. Okay. So, and you see that the dimensions are too small. So what you should do is go to dimension style. Command is D and go to the current style, modify, and there go to fit and set the style, what's called the overall scale. So that should be the plot scale. Press OK. I think that would be sufficient. So otherwise you can, so there is like here you can update it to 3 millimeters and the arrow size 3 millimeters. But I don't really not bothered with that those small stuff. Like it is only just 0.05 millimeters, and in manual drawing, you can't measure 2.5 millimeters with your ruler. So that's why we use 3 millimeters. So 2.53 is almost same. So I'm not that picky about that value. But if you had done this mistake, going here and typing like fix here, that's wrong. Okay, we don't do that. Uh, so so simply you need to set the scale here. So everything should be good enough. Yes, okay, close, right. Okay, otherwise you can, one more change I would like to make is the arrows. I like the closed one rather the closed field. That's a small change. It is not mandatory. So that's my preference. So you can see the arrow. It's like a pencil drawn arrowhead. Uh, Otherwise it will be, so this area will be filled with yeah, black color when you print. Okay, change the color as well. Dimension. I think that's the color I give. Okay, yes, yeah. So once you add the dimensions, once you add the text, uh, so you are good to start the plotting part. Um, okay, remember this is one way of doing a drawing. So where you put the dimensions, the text, the multi-leaders onto what is called as the model space. Okay, so this is where we draw stuff. Um, there is another technique which I will come to, where you put the dimensions. You don't put in the other technique, you don't put the dimensions text onto the model space. You put it here. So when you put the dimensions or the text onto this one, or what's called the layout, uh, so we don't scale. So it will be always one to one. Um, right. Yeah. I'll explain it a little later. So okay. So yeah, let's say we have all uh, the preliminary stuff, and you are drawing the text. The dimensions are properly set for the scale that you are using. If that is the case, now you can go and start the plotting part. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to use what called as the um, layout. So here you have the model and the layout. So this is also called as the uh, this is also called as the paper space or layout. Okay. So paper space where you do the plotting stuff. By the way, when you open the layout, you might get a blank paper. So where you don't see anything. Your drawing is not, it can be here, but it may not be here as well. So both can happen. In some layouts, you can find your drawing, but it doesn't have to be like that. So you may not see it. Yeah. What I recommend is if you see something like this, delete that. You select it and delete that. Okay. Yeah. Let me talk about what is something else which is not related to plotting, but I find it is something important. So, uh, if you want to select an object, you need to bring this cursor onto the object and click, right? So, otherwise, that's one method. You can click on somewhere here and then draw a window. And you know that this is crossing selection and this is uh, window selection. Crossing is where when the green color rectangle touches any object, you are going to select it. In the window selection, you need to, yeah, the rec the blue color rectangle region has to cover the entire object. Otherwise, you are not going to select that particular object. Another way is you can bring the cursor and click on it. Uh, so do you, okay, let me zoom in. So this is called the crosshair, the cursor. In the crosshair, you have a small rectangle at the center. So it is uh, in your software, this rectangle can be somewhat small. So I have intentionally made it large so that I can select objects easily. So this is how you do it, how you modify that one. You go to option, and there you have a selection tab. And here we have what's called the pick box. Okay. So you can set it to ridiculously high. Uh, if you like, that's fine. But I set it to something like this. Okay. And press OK. So that will do it. Okay, let me show you with smaller pick box. Okay. Now I need to bring the cursor, that small rectangular part, onto that uh, object so that I can select it. So sometimes big books can be very small, so, which makes the selection uh, very difficult. Not very difficult, I would say less convenient. So I like to keep it somewhere here. Press OK. And yeah, that's something that I found you should change, most of you. Okay. So, so let's come to plotting. So these are the steps that you have to follow. So first thing, you need to prepare the drawing. Prepare the drawing, not drawing, prepare the paper. So when you're plotting to a, let's say, printer, if you want to get a hard copy, you need to select the paper size, right? So that's what you should do in here as well. Uh, Actually, first you need to select a printer, then you select the paper size because the printer governs the paper size. Some printers can print like A4 papers, but they cannot print A3 or A2. So yeah, based on the printer, it may be able to print larger size, but sorry, it may not be able to print large size, but it will be able to print smaller sizes. So it depends on the uh, printer. Actually, in AutoCAD, we call these printers as plotters. They are big machines, not like an average printers you see, and they are very expensive, like a couple of millions in some cases. Okay, something like this. So these are like the plotters. You can see the size of the person. The connection is very slow today. Yeah, this is the a person, and that is the plotter. And that is a drawing as well. So there are no papers. So we have what's called paper reels. You can see here. So you feed a big roller of sheets, and then you send the command. So it will cut the paper to whatever the appropriate size. So yeah, these are very expensive machines and not something that you keep at your house unless you are doing some kind of plotting business. Okay, you are providing out service to other people. So in that case, you can have this one at your home, but not a typical thing that you will own. And as I mentioned, these are very expensive. Okay, so you first need to select the plotter, then you select the paper size and some bunch of other settings. Okay, so to do that formatting, what you do is you right click on the layout here, whatever the layout that you want to format, you right click and go to this one called Page Setup Manager. Let's suppose, okay, now, okay, let me rename this layout. To rename, you can double click, okay? You simply double click on the name. Say, I will format this as A3 paper, whatever, whatever the name you like. So, yeah. So then I right click on the paper, go to Page Setup Manager, and I'm going to select the A3 paper layout, go to Modify, and then you set up the plotter, whatever the plotter you are using. If you have installed a printer, physical printer driver, then it will come in this dialog box or this drop down menu. Sorry, this drop down menu, not dialog box. So you select that whatever the printer. So that is the university printer. So I'm not going to use that. So what I'm going to use is a converter, what you call uh, P AutoCAD to PDF converter. So there are different converters in here. So I'm going to use this one called ACAD PDF high quality. So these are not physical printers. So these are like virtual printers, basically converters. So like you convert Word files into uh, PDF, right? So same thing here. Okay, once you select the printer, you select the paper size. So you can see there are like a huge list of different paper sizes. So I recommend you to go through them. Um, we have ISO full bleed, architectural full bleed, AMSI full bleed, ISO normal stuff. Yeah, but I'm going to select something called ISO full bleed. A full bleed is they have smaller margin. So that means they have large printable area. So for a converter, that's what I expect. I don't want very large margins. So yeah, margins uh, margins are important because if you have anything like that is inside of the margin, okay, let me cancel for a moment. Let's say, let me draw a rectangle. Okay, let's say this is your paper. Um, let's say A4 paper, A3 paper, whatever the size. The printer cannot actually go to the very extreme. So there is a region where it can print like something like this. So in the inner rectangle, inside this inner rectangle, it can print, the printer can print, but outside this rectangle, uh, in this region, it can't print. So there's are physical limitations of the printer. So it depends on the printer that you buy. Yes. So here, you should make sure, you must make sure that your drawing must not exceed the margin. If it goes, then you will not get any output in this region. So it will be simply kept blank. Like let's say if you have an important dimension going here, so then going beyond the margins, so then once you print, you will see only this region. So then the numbers will be clipped out. So that is actually AutoCAD will give you some warning, but it will not stop you from doing that. So therefore, it is your responsibility to limit your paper to whatever the margin the printer supports. So let me go back to the page setup manager, go to modify. Okay, so you set the printer, now you set the plotter. So I'm going to use this one called full bleed. Full bleed papers have small margins, so that's the difference. Um, okay, uh, and if you look here, so there are like, if you think, let's say I want to select A3, and here there are two A3 papers, and similarly there are two A4 papers, and here you have what the landscape mode, and here we have the portrait mode. By the way, you will see a preview here based on what you select. So I'm going to select the landscape because big drawings are usually done in landscape, not in portrait mode. Uh, this one, A3. Okay, so you select the plotter, you select the paper size, and what to plot. This should be set to layout. Okay, by default it is set to layout, so don't change that. And here, keep it at 1 to 1. So there are times where you change this scale, but when you are plotting with the paper space, we don't usually change this scale. So set it to 1 to 1. And finally, you need to do something, you need to select something called plot style table, or what you call pen assignment. I will come to this one uh, in a short while. Uh, yeah, so what I'm going to use there is I'm going to use this one called monochrome. Basically, what monochrome does is it is going to remove the color, and the drawing will be done plotted in black and white. That's all. Okay. So you, even though I have colors, very bright colors in my AutoCAD file, in my AutoCAD drawing, once you print out, you don't need those colors because usually you don't need. But there are situations where you need the colors. But yeah, for this one you don't need. Like if you are doing, if you are giving a work drawing to the workshop, if you are doing or a construction site, they don't need color printout usually. But let's say if you are printing like evacuation route in a building, then you need color printout. Okay, so that's a different story. So, and you will learn once you go to industry, you will learn them. So I'm not going to spend time here. Right. Yeah, I'm going to use monochrome. What it does is basically remove the color and make it black and white. That's all. Okay. So color will be black. That's the only change. I'm going to enable this one, but yeah, yeah, that's a good practice, I would say. So you see what you are doing. So display. Uh, yeah, so that's gonna be it. And press OK and cancel out. Okay, so that is one method. Um, Another method that you can do is, okay, another thing that you can do is go to page setup manager and you create what's called uh, new page setup. And okay, let me dis discuss the difference. So here in the previous method, what I did was I formatted this paper. Okay, I just formatted the current paper. That's all I did. But if I want to use the same settings to this one, then I have to do the same. I have to go through, sorry, I have to go through the same uh, steps for this file as well. Sorry, this layout as well. Let's say if I have like another 5 or 7 layouts, so then I need to apply the same settings to each and every layout. So that is like doing the same thing again and again. So if you find yourself, okay, if you find yourself in a situation where you need to apply the same settings, for multiple layouts, I would recommend you to create this one called page setup, new page setup. So let's say I'm going to tell this is A3 page uh, PDF. Okay, so I know what this is doing. So then the steps are almost identical. So you set the plotter, you set the paper size, you set the pen assignment table, scale, and stuff. So they are almost same. Okay. The beauty is now you have this one. So what you can do is you can assign the previously created page setup to whatever the layout that you want. So let me go back here. And now what you do is select the page setup that I previously created and use the click on this button called set current. And you will see the page getting updated. And by the way, you will also see in front of the, sorry, behind the name of the layout, it will show this name of the page setup that you had used. So if you change the page setup, this layout will automatically get updated. It will get automatically updated. So that's the beauty of these page setups. Okay. Right. Okay. If I want, I can simply go to this one as well and select the page setup you want and set current. Okay. So, and you see the colors getting washed up. That's because we are using monochrome. Set current. Right. So that's something that is important, I would say. Right. So you go to page setup manager, modify, okay. Or otherwise you can create the page setup and set it here. So both options are, yeah, they are equally valid, whatever you like. Um, I would say if you have just one paper, just format it. One paper means one layout. But if you have more multiple layouts, then go with the page setup. Right. Okay, now I have a blank paper, A3. Plotter is PDF converter. Now I want to, before I do anything else, I want to, um, so I want to add what's called the title block for this one. In your next assignment also, you need to add this title block, format it, and use it in your drawing. Uh, Actually, how to create a block is taught in the last lecture, so I'm not going to teach it here. So I have taught how to create, how to convert this into a block, and how to add attributes, and how to modify them. So those are all taught in the last lecture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C, copy, Control C, and I'm going to, okay, I'm going to create a new layer called TB for title block. And I'm going to keep title block, where is TB? I don't want colors in there. Yeah, that's fine. Uh, Unless, yeah, line type is continuous, that's fine. Because since I'm using monochrome, the colors will simply wash away. Okay, now I can simply paste it. Okay, let me put it here and make it a block. Block. So this is A3 paper size. So A3 TB. Pick a base point. That is my base point. Press OK. Save it. Right. Now I can simply put it here. Okay, here you don't have snapping. Simply zoom in and ballpark it. So this is what we call ballpark. You just look at it and place it close enough. Okay, so this one is the title block I'm using. Yeah, it is a block now. I'm going to make another layer called V4. It is there, so I don't need to and I don't need that new layer. Okay, okay, now I'm going to discuss a very important concept. So I want you to pay attention. So here, what I get is a blank paper with a title block, or what you call title cage. Sometimes you will call this as a title cage. Okay, both are accepted with the title cage, but you don't see anything. So your drawing is still invisible. Okay? So yeah, so in AutoCAD there is a concept that let's look at this slide. So this is like the drawing that you have drawn. So that is actually the model space. Okay, let me go back to AutoCAD. This one. So this is the drawing that you have, which is called as the model space. Okay. So this is an analogy. Um, so assume that there is like a lens on top of the model space. So this is the transparent. Yeah, lenses are transparent, right? Uh, so this lens will actually can uh, scale the drawing up, or it can scale the drawing down. So it can be a convex or concave lens. Uh, yeah, it is like a replaceable lens. So which is on top of the drawing space. And now you have a blank paper. So this paper, okay, with the title cage. So yeah, so you have the drawing, you have a lens. On top of that, you have a blank paper. Okay, now to see the drawing that is behind the paper, you need to create a cut, right? Otherwise, uh, you will not be seeing the drawing which is behind it. So the cut that you are going to make is called as a viewport. Okay, so this name. So we are going to cut a paper here. So I told you that there is a lens, and this lens will scale up or scale down the drawing and project the view onto your cut. Okay, so this is the cut, or what you call the viewport, and you get the drawing onto the viewport. So we are going to create the viewport. So for that, I'm going to use the viewport layer, VP. Yeah, that's the name I use. Or you can use viewport, you can type the full name. And so there's a command called, I think it's viewport. Yeah, MV, make viewport. The command is MV, make viewport. And I'm going to create this window. See, now you can see the drawing inside this viewport. So actually, as I mentioned in the slide, like you are cutting a hole in your blank paper. And here we have the lens. Okay, so this lens is important. Okay, so the scale that I'm going to use is 1 to 2. So to set the scale, what you have to do is select the viewport. Okay, to set the scale, you select the viewport and go down. And here you have the standard scales. So I'm going to use 1 to 2. Okay, once you do that, you will see the focus getting to a different place. So I can simply pan, and then I will need to enlarge the viewport. Okay, basically that's all you do, right? You will have to, okay, this is not all. There are things that you need to, uh, actually configure. Basically, those are the main steps that you need to follow. Yeah, I will keep the viewport here. Yeah. So okay, now I am almost done with the. Let me exit from this slideshow. I am almost done with the plotting part. Right. So you make the viewport, select it, set the scale. So let me, yeah, you select the viewport, set the scale. So uh, most of the time, uh, so this once you set the scale, you will be zooming in or out to a different location. So you need to center the drawing properly. Okay. So to do that, what you should do is you click inside the viewport, double click, and then you use the pan, okay, pan to center the drawing. Once you do, okay, okay, don't zoom. If you zoom, you are going to lose the scale. See? So now you have to zoom, apply the correct scale again, and probably do pan, or what you call center the drawing. Okay. So always check whether you have the correct scale here. Okay, once you are done zooming, sorry, once you're done with the panning and set the correct scale, I recommend you to lock the viewport. So once you lock the viewport, so see this lock sign, zooming doesn't see, it doesn't change the scale. The scale is locked. So I can zoom, pan, whatever I do, it will be always, it will not get changed. It means the scale of the drawing and the focus of the drawing. So now I can, okay, by the way, to go back, I told you to go inside the viewport, you double click inside. To go out, you double click outside. Double click inside, double click outside. Yeah, double click. Okay, right. I think it is almost done. Now, if you want to print, so in this case, I think it is almost done. Yeah. So print to, sorry, to print the document, or let's say to export the document, what you do is press Control P, like in, yeah, what you do usually. Or otherwise, you can go to this quick access toolbar, and there you have a printer sign, and select this button. So yeah, it's almost, yeah, it is the same. Control P, uh, Control P. That is how you print. Or you can press this button. Yeah, both will go to the same dialog box. Um, So you have already set up this stuff. So now you can simply press. Okay, you can take a preview. Um, yeah, seems okay. Exit and press OK to print. So it will tell me, it will ask me where to plot. Okay, I'm going to plot it. Plot it to this folder. Okay, let's say A3. Plot whatever you like to name, call this file. So once you are done, so it will load the new PDF file. So since I am not sending the drawing to an actual plotter, I'm going to get this PDF file. Okay, so few things. Um, do you see this rectangle here? I don't know. I don't want that. So that is like a mistake. So this is the viewport border, um, which should not be on your output, on your hard copy. Okay. So I need to remove that. So how can I do that? So there are a couple of ways to do it. So you have the viewport. Okay, let me go to a different layer. What you can do is simply hide it or turn it off. So what happens is we are going to remove the viewport. Now if I, okay, yeah, let me print the document again. Press OK. Yes, now you see the viewport border is gone. Okay, that is one method. Um, it hide the layer. If you want, you can keep the viewport border and disable plotting. So here you see this column. So it means if I click on this one, you see the red sign, right? Red the dot on the icon. So that means everything on this layer will not be plotted, but it will be visible. You see, now you can see. So the viewport borders are visible, but if I print it, press OK, so in the output, you will not see the border. So that's a nice setting. So like it's gonna like kill two birds with one stone. You you can keep the viewport visible, but you will not print it. So that's a nice setting which is available in AutoCAD. So you go to Layer, Viewport, and Disable Plotting. Okay, so simply click on this one if you want to enable plotting. If you see the red symbol, that means everything on that layer will not be plotted. Okay, it will not be printed. Control P. Okay. 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 We have the drawing. Right. Um. Yeah, that's something you should do. I recommend you doing that. Yeah, I recommend one way or other. You can simply hide the layer. That is also fine. Or you can simply disable plotting. Okay. I need to do one more thing. So if you look at the drawing, uh, I am not satisfied with these how the hidden lines are displayed. So the line. scale is not okay. This is what I want to highlight. So here, this is the hidden line, but you see only two paths here. Okay? And here, this is also a hidden line, this small line segment, but you can hardly see that. So what I'm going to do is, I want to make them, I want to show them that they are hidden lines. So like this. Okay, to do that, there is a setting that you need to control. So the setting is called as line type scale. Uh, line type scale. So you need to manipulate this scale to show these hidden lines, center lines properly. So the command is LTS. So one is no scaling. So if you want to make it more like hidden line, you have to use a smaller value, let's say 0.5. See, now they look more, more like hidden line. Okay, let me go to the LTS again and set it to like zero point 0.4, perhaps. Uh, yeah, I would say this is fine, I guess. The command is LTS, line type scale. And if I go large values like 2, see, now you don't see anything. It's, yeah, you can't clearly see what the line type is, whether it's a hidden line or a center line. I don't know. So let me go back to zero point 0.4 and let me print the document again. Yeah. Um, okay. Another nice thing about this PDF plotting is you have the layers in your PDF file. So if you want, you can hide the object in the PDF as well. Okay. So dimensions, if I want, I can simply hide it. So this is not AutoCAD. This is uh, ah, that is interesting. Hmm. Next. Yeah. So if you have used layers properly, then you have this control. But if you haven't used layers, you can't do like this. Oh, I get it. Now this is the print. Now this is the PDF file you have. So what you can do is simply maybe send it to a plotter, or maybe you can share this with your client, uh, whatever you like. Um, yeah, basically that is how you do a print in AutoCAD. Okay, so you have a very important concept. You have the line type scale, LTS, which is going to scale the line type. Like if you want to show the hidden lines as hidden lines, you might need to change the parameter, change that parameter. Um, yeah, so this is one way of doing it. Okay, let me come back to the page setup manager. And here I told you that I will explain this one called pen assignment, sorry, pen style table, or what you call pen assignment. Before coming to that one, let me go back a little bit. Um, when you create layers, sorry, in the layer, like in the object properties, like I told you that when you create layers, you should use the index colors. So these colors, not like true colors, color book or whatever that was. I told you to stay away from the true colors, color book, and um, use these index colors for your layer, right? Now there is now I will explain why you want to use those. Okay, let me go back to the page data manager, modify. So here we are using what's called the pen assignment table or plot pen assignments or what's called plot style table. Um, so what they does is actually, um, okay, let me show you by modifying. So I'm going to use this one called AutoCAD. That's okay. Yes. So that AutoCAD pen assignment table. So it's simply uh, so it does basically nothing. Okay, if I print the drawing now, you will see the drawing in color. So it will be a color drawing this in this case. Okay. The monochrome basically wash out the colors and make it black and white, but the AutoCAD pen assignment table, it doesn't do anything. Okay, now I'm going to do some changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button, which is going to modify the pen assignment table. So here you will see like a color table, like colors from 1 to 255. So each color has set of properties. See, for red color, these are the properties. For green color, for these are the properties. So that means, so in this plotting, I am I can basically control the object properties based on the color of the object. Okay. In the previous lecture, I told you that color is an object property, but now I'm telling a different thing. Okay. In the printout, in the final output, I can simply control the line type, line weight, color, everything based on the color. Okay, let me give you a demonstration. Okay, so this outer line layer, they use blue color. Blue color is what number? Number 5. Okay, let me show you what that setting is. Okay, I'm going to go back to the page setup manager, modify. Okay, so this is color 5. So I'm going to change these parameters. So the blue color, I'm going to set it to like red and line type. That is the line type. Line type. Now, for the line type, I'm going to use uh, something like this. So what does it mean? It means that uh, any object with blue color will be printed in red, and it will have this particular line type. Okay, you will think that that is ridiculous. Yes, that is ridiculous. I agree. So that is just for demonstration. So let me print the document. Control P. Press OK. Wait, yeah. Now you see what I meant. So yeah, that is the beauty of pen assignment. So you can control the property of the line just by manipulating the color. So every object with blue color is now printed in red color, and it has this line type. So which is not what I need actually. Options, not option. Wait, wait, wait. So basically, I think this was very early technique that they used. Um, so maybe when the computers were not that powerful, they may have thought that color will give a color and set all the properties to the color. Okay, so maybe that might be the starting point, but this is how you do it in um, yeah currently as well. So now you see only if you look at the table, you see only 255 colors, right? So that's why I told you not to use the other colors like the true colors because they do not come to this list. Okay, so they don't come to this list. So you will not be able to control how they are printed uh, with the pen assignment table. So that's why I tell you, strongly advise you not to use the true colors in your 2D drawings. Okay, stay away from these colors. You will not be able to print them properly. So always, always use the index colors. And so index colors with the pen assignment, you can control everything with just the color. Okay, so I'm going to change back to the object color and this object. So you can play with them, but yeah, make sure that you revert them back to the original setting. By the way, you can create a new one and play with it. Start from scratch and give a name, and then you can update it to whatever you want. And there are other pen assignment tables like these stuff. You can explore them. I'm not going to go into details. For black and white drawings, I will go with monochrome. That's all. And update all. So refresh. I'm using what's called the regenerate. Command is RE so that you update the screen. R is the regenerate. It's like screen refresh. Okay, that's basically, let me think whether did I miss something or not? Okay, okay. Okay, I missed something. Yeah. Okay, I told you that in the very beginning. I missed a couple of things. Okay, let me go to this layout and okay, I'm going to insert the block, title block. Set it up. Okay, set current. Right. I told you that one method is when you want to add dimension, text, and here you can add them to the model space. This is what you typically find in the industry. Um, there are advantages in this case, like you have everything in the model space. So the another technique that is followed is you add the dimensions text onto the paper. Okay, so let me hide the dimensions and make a new one for dim on. Right, I made it here. Uh, I'm going to make a viewport. By the way, I showed you just how to make a viewport. You can have more than one viewport. Like here, I can have multiple viewports. So this is what I'm going to do. I have multiple viewports. And here I'm going to show the front elevation only. And in here, I'll show the end elevation. I'm going to lock it so that I don't change the scale accidentally. And here is going to be the plan. Lock that as well. Okay, so now I have three viewports. The problem here is they are not aligned properly. So if you are doing like this, you need to align this viewport horizontally. So I'm going to draw this construction, so this X line. So then I'm going to select the view, so select the viewport. Okay, I need to put them onto uh, the viewport layer. Now I'm going to move it from here onto that line, right? So they are properly aligned. You see that I created them individually. Then I can use these tools available in AutoCAD and align these views. That's fine, but make sure they are aligned. Okay, uh, drop that one. Let me print the document. Okay, put layout 2. Right here. See, so they are properly aligned. I can simply draw a line, uh, an object here. See, they are aligned. Same gap. Okay, so that's what that's one thing I want to show you. So um, actually, I recommend this practice because um, now you can properly distribute these views. Say, for example, um, so when you put these views, make sure that you have like in manual drawing we do this, uh, like the gap between, yeah, gap between this edge and that line should be equal to gap between this, okay, and also the gap between these two. So try to follow that practice. So don't try to um, do something like this. So the plan view is, sorry, end elevation is like here, and you have a very huge margin in between. Okay, that is not a good. Yeah, this is not a good drawing. drawing practice. So, so make sure that you distribute these views properly. You can do it easily when you have multiple viewports. Okay. So what you can do is, let me measure the distance. So we have from here to there gonna be how much? Okay, 385. Uh, that distance is how much? 160. And that is 150. We remember that this is like the actual distance from the object. So you need to scale them by whatever the scale you are using. So I'm using 1 to 2. So the distance would be this divided by 2. Oh, so what you do is you subtract this and divide everything by 3. Did it work? Yeah, I'll use Excel. That is. So it's like 82.5. Let me use 80. So yeah, from here to there, it's gonna be uh, yeah, what's the distance inside the block. So, yeah, since it's the block, I can't do that. Yeah, that's fine. I can simply draw a line. Track it here. 82. Okay, now I need to. Yeah, I made a mistake. Uh, hide the viewport. That's confusing. Oh, I need the viewport. I can't hide it. Okay, select the V2 viewports. And track these 2 points. Uh, it okay. And yeah, the gap is very small, but yeah, still I would like to get it perfectly done. Right, like this. Okay, after you move it, double check whether everything is aligned. Yeah, it seems okay. It, yeah, I could have drawn horizontal, vertical, this one. Yeah. Yeah, so then I can put another line vertical, track it here, 82, right? Uh, then move it again to here. And now I can simply hide the layers. Oh, right. And see, so they are evenly distributed now. So that should be done by you. Uh, I expect you to do something like this and also vertically. Um, yeah, sometimes you will not be able to do it because of the title cage. So you will have to distribute it more to the right. It depends on the size of the title cage. But as the drawing gets larger and larger, the title cage will become relatively small. The size will be same, but compared to the drawing area, this will be smaller, like here. See? So this is like a A1 paper title block. So you have more drawing area, and this is less important. Uh, yeah, okay. So once you add the layout, sorry, once you add the viewport, then you add the dimension on the layout, on the paper space. Make sure that you are on the paper space. So here we have paper, that means paper. If you are seeing model, you are on the model space. That means it means like you are adding the dimensions here. Okay. So let me go back to the layout too. Okay, now I am on the layout. So I get the dimension. Now you, okay, now this is important. Now, if I add in the dimensions on, uh, if I add in dimensions on the layout, make sure the scale is 1 to 1 on layout. Continue. So that should be 1. You can't scale it. So these dimensions are on the layout. They are not on the uh, model space like ET, ETI. Okay. So I'm using this style. Sorry, I'm using this style. That is my current style. Okay. Otherwise, you can go to the annotate tab and from here select whatever the style that you are looking that you are using. Um, I'm going to make modification. Set current, modify, come like this. Okay, so these dimensions are on the layout. If you are going to model space, see, you don't see the dimension. So this is another practice that you can follow. Both are correct. But if you go to the industry, you will not see this practice that often. So you will mostly see the dimensions on the model space here. Okay. So yeah, there are pros and cons to this technique. These techniques. So like they are both are not perfect. They have their own advantages and disadvantages. Um, so industry prefer, most of the companies prefer, most of the old companies, okay? So they prefer the dimensions on model space, not the not the layout. Okay. Um, yeah, and also you can put the center marks, center line on the paper. Okay, like this. Okay, let me uh, hide the center and show you center mark. You can put it here. So now these are applied on the paper space. See, paper space and center lines as well. Actually, AutoCAD recommends putting the center line on the paper space because they are correct. Otherwise, you need to scale the length. That doesn't happen automatically. Um, right now, I don't know whether they have plans in the future. Yes. So these are uh, applied on the paper space, not the model space. So you have the freedom of doing that. And also you can add the text here. Sorry, which is plan. Let me go to properties and make it 5. I would align these two dimensions as well. It's not mandatory, but it looks nice if you align them. Okay, now I can simply print it. Control P. That's okay. Okay, so yes, you can do it. You do the drawing. You can put the make insert the insert the viewports, then add the dimensions onto the layout. That's also correct. Okay, I mentioned that there are, yeah, both techniques are correct, and they have their advantages and disadvantages. And when you go to industry, you should follow what the company is using. Otherwise, you will get fired. So yeah, actually, um, some companies, they don't even use layout. They don't like to use in layout. What some does is, uh, so they insert the title block here like this, properties, and they scale the title block like this and do everything on the model space. I really don't recommend this because it is too time consuming in some cases. Um, so what I would recommend is just draw a rectangle like here. So to specify this is the region, and when they want to print, what they do is just uh, press the print command and then select the printer. So you have to do this every time. Printer is there is one paper size is Now, what to plot? Here you select a window and select the ends of the title block. And here you need to select the landscape and scale. Okay, I told you in the previous case, don't change this one. When you're using uh, layouts, you don't change this scale. But when you're printing from the model space, this method, yes, this is where you change the scale. But I don't recommend you should not use it in this class. Okay, I need to change the page size. I just have to read A3, yes, A3. Oh no, yeah, it's here. Plot table, everything else is the same. Yeah, preview. I made a mistake. So I added a mistake. Window. Yeah, it is fine. Get I use for complete. Anything is okay. I need to center. Yeah, center the plot. Yeah, once you center, once you center the plot, that will be fine. Yes. Yeah. Now it is almost same. You get that. You get the identical result. Uh, in this case, you need to properly now move the views around this title block. So when you go to industry, you will see this practice as well. So yeah, uh, I personally don't like this practice as I mentioned before. So because every time you want to print, you need to set up those things. You need to set the plotter. You need to set. Yeah, this is fine. This is already set. You need to set the paper size and the scale and so forth. But if you are using layout, once you set up it, just control, sorry, just press Control P. That's all. Over this button. When press OK, you can print. Okay, it is. I have a copy there. Yeah, that is why I recommend these layouts. You can simply do the formatting once and print out. So it is not like you are printing this document only once. You will be doing it a lot of times. Like you will be going through revision, and then you will have to do in the revised drawings as well. So yeah, every second matters when you are in the industry. That is how you become what you call a good. No, you will not be becoming a draftsman. Let's say a good CAD user. Let's say efficient CAD user, not a good one. Good is uh, yeah, too broad. So there are a lot of techniques that is used. I try to introduce you to like most of them. Maybe I have missed. Still, I may have missed something. But when you go to industry, you will learn it. Um, yeah. So you can add the dimensions again. You can add the dimensions to the layout, or you can add the dimension here. But in our assignment, I will recommend. Okay, in our assignment, I will ask you to add the dimension here onto the model space. Okay, not to the paper space, but it is possible. You can do it, and there is nothing wrong with that practice. And especially when you go to 3D modeling, that is what we are going to do. We are not going to create the drawing here. You will simply import the 3D onto the layout, and there you generate. Um, and there you generate the drawing. So uh, in those applications, you will add the dimensions directly onto the layout. So yeah, so we have different practices. I hope this is okay. And remember, in the next assignment, assignment number 6, you need to plot. So you need to add the um, title cage. You need to insert what you call attributes into this one. Attributes were discussed in the last lecture, so you need to go through that again. Uh, yes. Then you need to fill these details. What is the who drew it? What is the drawing name? What is the drawing number? The scale, blah blah blah. You need to fill out all of them. So I try to give you give you a drawing which is pretty close to a industrial output. So what you have to do when you go to industry. Yeah, with my experience, I'm giving you these kind of questions. Um, I hope this was, yeah, you understood what I taught you. And again, I recommend you to do the old drawings again, okay, and try to print them out. Yeah, you can download these kind of title blocks for free. You can simply Google AutoCAD title block download like that. Yeah, there'll be a lot of um, templates you can use. Some are free, some are free, but you need to sign in. Yeah, um, so practice them. Oh, yeah, this is a different language. That's fine. Okay. So sorry, they have different sizes. A3, A2, A1, A0. I don't know what is that size. Metro roller. Anyway, and yeah, you can use them. That's fine. Um, okay, let me save it. It looks nice actually. So I don't want to delete that. Um, yes. Yeah, this is incomplete. I haven't put all the dimensions. And this layer, sorry, view name is missing as well. Um, yeah. Okay, that would be it for this lecture. Mm, yeah, have a nice day, everyone.